So as the economy is crashing and people are losing confidence, Trump is out dancing. This is the messaging from the White House today. Trump dance back in Iowa, dance emoji. Huh. And I want to show you guys what's going on, as there's a lot of news today, because I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to be playing the blame game. So for example, Ice Barbie throws Stephen Miller under the bus to save her job, and she'll say, oh, well, Trump ordered me to do it. Stephen Miller ordered me to do it, right? And then I'm sure Miller and Trump will say, oh, no. Stephen Miller told me to do it. No, Trump told me to do it, right? There's going to be a blame game there. And Trump's messaging is all over the map these days. Take a listen to this.
With that being said, he can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns.
What about the Second Amendment?
Listen, he can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's just a very unfortunate incident.
And it's a very strange messaging for them, because, the Republicans, they usually get their voters like, hey guys, you should have guns all the time, holsters all day, every day, and, it'll make everything safer. And now they're telling you can't have a gun. It's like, oh, okay. I'll say this, not everyone is buying their BS. This is a Republican voter. Have a listen to what she has to say.
He needs to get his act together, and our representatives here in Iowa need to stop following his lead. I'm not voting Republican again.
Did you ever vote for him?
First time around, and he did a good job, but then he got stupid.
What does that mean?
Means that he just changed, and it's all about him. He thinks he's God, and he's gonna take over the world.
Wow, she actually gets it, right? And yes, people can be fooled the first time around, but now she's like, he got stupid. He thinks he's God and thinks he can take over the world. Like that's actually an average person's take, and I think more people are going to start seeing it. It's not that hard to see. The dude's building ballrooms, he's dancing while people are suffering. Wow. I'm actually surprised though, because yes, there are still people who live in Delulu land. I'll admit that, maybe 30%. Depending on which poll you look at.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Preddy is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident. Okay? Everyone, unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
And you can just see his demeanor and body language when you talk about this stuff. He doesn't care about anyone. It's obvious. And then I'm just showing you guys it's a strange change of messaging for them to be anti-gun now. And also when they're asking him, hey, do you think he's an assassin? Something like that, referring to Alex Preddy. And that language is coming from actually Stephen Miller. This was in Axios today. It's pretty interesting. It says, blame game erupts over Trump's team's false claim Alex Preddy sought, quote, massacre. And the point being, though, is that Stephen Miller is behind a lot of their messaging. That's essentially what the reporting comes down to. And then also you're going to see here that people are lawyering up, right? And you're also going to get reports of what actually happened. For example, came out today. 2 officers fired their guns during Preddy encounter. Homeland Security says in an initial report. We know that there are multiple shots fired, and we all saw the video for ourselves. I had wondered if it was more than 2 officers. I mean, I saw it with my own eyes, so we know what happened. But the thing is, though, I don't think there's going to necessarily be an independent investigation on this stuff. And if anyone is going to be charged or responsible for anything, I think there's going to be a lot of finger pointing, saying, he told me to do it, she told me to do it, that kind of stuff. So I kind of see how this is playing out, and they're going to look for a fall person. It's interesting though, because at the moment, right, there's multiple people you can go after with this. I don't think we have the names of the shooters in the Alex Preddy killing. If you guys have heard any names, please let me know. Which there's something else I want to talk to you about that also. But I don't think I've heard the names of the people yet involved, the shooters. The American Federation of Government Employees, I guess they're saying that Noam should resign. But there's multiple people calling for this, as you're going to see, and there's a lot of news today, and I think one of the reasons is there's a lot of people on the inside that they know what's going on is bad. They know what's going on is wrong, and so they're leaking more to the press. Because normally you don't hear like all this stuff on a single day, but I think there's a lot of basically people heading for the exits and again finger pointing and then trying to distance themselves from this stuff because there's just such overwhelming evidence of how bad. Just talking about the Alex Preddy killing, but just that is sort of the tipping point of all the bad stuff that Trump is doing.
If I wanted, I could hire 1 million people tomorrow, put them in the federal government, and she'd be writing a story. Unbelievable employment. Unbelievable employment. But we have great unemployment numbers.
Yeah.
I think they're great. Is there one number that's bad? Can you tell? Is there one number that's bad? There's not one.
See, it's weird, right? Like the stuff he says is just weird. I think he's seriously in a bubble. My wife and I always talk about this all the time. Like, does he really believe the stuff he says? So this is just my opinion on this stuff. Like you'll read reports and kind of get an idea of it. But, you know, I think his advisors just surround himself with basically fake news, and he may actually believe the stuff that he says. Is he a liar? Sure, absolutely. I'm not saying he's not a liar, but there's liar, delusional, dementia, whatever. I mean, it's a combination of all the above. Plus, he's surrounded by the circle of worm tongues, basically Stephen Miller kind of people. And it's also weird that you're talking about, I could hire a bunch of people if I wanted. And so why don't you? Like,
That you have retreated in Minnesota, Governor Gavin Newsom, and he is encouraging people to keep the pressure up.
See, I haven't heard that at all because it's just the opposite. I was called by the governor yesterday. I was called by the mayor yesterday. How do we do something? Please, how do we do something? I think it's bad for them. I don't think it's bad for us. I think it's bad for them.
Yeah, you'll have to see what Governor
But it's not
Newsom
a question
posted.
of retreat. We want safe cities, whether it's if.
and it's kind of weird there too, because even the Fox News person is not going to challenge him here, but he's just like, you're not answering the question, like whatever. And you never know with Trump. So like he'll say stuff. He had a phone call with Carney. He'll say like, oh yeah, Carney caved or whatever. And then Carney's like, no, I didn't. Right. Or he'll say stuff like, oh yeah, you know, Walls caved, and Walls are like, no, I didn't. Like it's kind of weird. So in these situations, and for those people who, so sometimes people write in the community, you know, I had a family member or a friend that had dementia, and it sort of exhibits this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff you never know for sure. But I mean, the way Trump talks, I think he actually believes the nonsense that he says. But it's strange though to have to talk to him, like say you have a phone call and then like he's hearing voices or something. I don't know, like he's his memory of stuff that happens is a total lie. So there's always a debate on that. Is he just completely delusional or is he just a total liar? I mean, it can certainly be a combination of both. And then he's reinforced then by his advisors that do tell him a bunch of nonsense. So that part is true.
I just left a great group of people from Iowa, and half of them were crying as they talked to me. I don't think they were crying because I'm doing a bad job. You know, in theory, you'd cry if you do a bad. They were crying because I've done a good job. Sir, they said, sir, you've brought our country back. Crying. One woman was fantastic. She grabbed me and she put her head right there, and her tears are pouring all over my beautiful suit. I figured I'd get it. And I checked it out, and there was a lot of makeup all over. I said, what the hell am I going to do? I got to get myself in trouble. No, but she was crying.
It's weird, right? And he's like, that's how he thinks of people. He's like thinking about his suit. It's weird. And then the campaign thing that they're doing, they got these signs behind them, bigger paychecks, lower prices. It's like, none of this stuff makes sense. And you always wonder, like, where do they find these people that go to these Trump rallies? Like, who are these delusional people? And I guess to them, this is all fake news. So, you know, they don't watch my channel anyway. But I tell you guys what's going on. I mean, you'll see this stuff. This is just business news. Home buyers are backing out of deals at the fastest pace in nearly a decade. I mean, this is what's going on, you know? Or you'll see that consumer confidence is down. It's like lower than the pandemic. We just talked about that before. The dollar's crashing. We're losing, you know, business all around the world. Tourism is going to take a massive hit, or is taking a hit, I should say.
So there was a time that you weren't allowed to use the words law and order. I like that guy. You weren't allowed to use the term law and order. You weren't allowed to use the term Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody, right? Remember that 2016 I ran.
Weird, and he's going back to talking about crap happened in 2016 and that we couldn't say Christmas according to Trump. Like it's just weird delusional crap. That's what I'm talking about here. What's interesting though is that some of the Republicans are calling him out. This is Senator Tom Tillis, Republican of North Carolina. Listen to what he has to say.
I think that what she's done in Minnesota should be disqualifying. She should be out of the job. And I mean, really, it's just amateurish. It's terrible. It's making the president look bad on policies that he won on. He won on a strong message about immigration, and now nobody's talking about that. They're not talking about securing the border. They're talking about the incompetence of the leader of the Homeland Security and the other people, Bavino, whatever his name is. He needs to go back to California, get his retirement papers, and go. These people are amateurs. They got to de-escalate there and treat these communities with some respect. How did he?
And that's how people talk behind closed doors. Although now it's more in the open. And so if you ever think that are Republicans not seeing it, they see it. It just depends on how you want to play it. Ted Cruz, he'll be the slimy person. Oh well, we need to ratchet things down. That's sort of what he says, but he'll try to make it sound like it's everyone out doing ICE stuff. And this guy, he's playing the thing of like, I mean, you can hear what he says. He's calling Noam and such amateurs. He's saying Trump ran on these issues. Some people like Trump's point of view, but they're amateurs in carrying it out. And essentially what this all ends up being, I've told you guys several times before, Trump run a TV show, or you argue they run an advertising company where they advertise you a bunch of promises. So that's what they do. They go out on the road and they say, oh, everything's going to be great. You're all going to get a bunch of stimmy checks and you're all going to be rich. And look how great all my numbers are. And like, even though it's all nonsense, and it's so strange that anyone falls for this stuff. I mean, it should be obvious, but and I try to be nice as I can. I'll just say this: you need to strengthen education in the USA and invest in the people. And you also want to pick leaders that actually care about you, don't make fun of you when you're crying and such. Oh, get your makeup off my suit. I mean, this is coming the words from him. But I will say this, though. They are apparently, well, we'll just say this. There's allegations of, are they controlling the narrative, right? So, for example, we talked about this before. TikTok denies ICE. Epstein censorship says power outages behind the U.S. app issues. Like they're blaming data centers and stuff like that. Because people were saying they tried to send the word Epstein through private messages like the DMs. And I guess it was getting blocked there. I showed you guys in the prior video. But I'll just say this. The TikTok case is weakened when you look at all the news. That's why you got to put stuff together. This was an interesting one. Meta blocks posts sharing database of ICE agents. So I guess there's lists out there giving names of ICE agents, and what people can do. You can just go to LinkedIn and you can start piecing stuff together, right? And then neighbors start figuring out, okay, one of my neighbors is doing X or whatever. And so then Meta, I guess, and then I guess that would include Instagram and Threads. If you try to link something that they don't like, they'll disallow you from doing that. And this actually also relates to what's happening at CBS. It says after rocky start, Barry Weiss plans cuts, add commentators at CBS News. And essentially what it is they want to turn CBS more into like an opinion outlet. She'll say that's what the market wants. Basically turn it more into Fox News, right? So Fox News isn't really news at all. It's just entertainment. It's just a bunch of people with a bunch of opinions essentially and telling you a bunch of nonsense. And I just try to tell you guys what's going on. Like right now, the dollar is down. It's been going down pretty big. I think today they were saying it was like the biggest downturn in the dollar for since April, I want to say it was. Dollar slides as Trump says he is not concerned with its recent decline. It was kind of crazy. Like it was already going down. It went down even more after he said that stuff.
And by the way, there's another beautiful armada floating beautifully toward Iran right now. So we'll see. I hope they make a deal. I hope they make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time they'd have a country.
And I find this stuff so strange. And you can see some of the people in the background are kind of looking around. That one guy in the green sweatshirt was. But, this idea when people are struggling and you just start bragging about, hey, we're going to go send our military and threaten Iran. Wow, great, fantastic, right? I mean, this is... The list goes on. There's any number of these things in a normal country, Trump would have been removed long ago. But I know midterms are coming, and for some people that's not soon enough. I'll just say this: show up to the polls, make your voice heard, have reasonable talks with your neighbors, people around you. I think people can see what's going on. We're going in the wrong direction, and there's going to be a change. So I know you wish it could come sooner. I'm right there with you, and. Because the problem is that the damage that Trump is doing is really hurting USA's position. Just let me give you a simple example. Let's say Trump, passes whatever stupid tweet or policy, and then a company decides to close down an office, say in Chicago or New York or whatever, okay? And then they say, okay, I'm going to go open an office somewhere else, maybe in Seoul, maybe in Singapore, maybe in, Delhi, wherever. And then I don't know, 4 or 5 years from now, USA goes back to being whatever normal is, right? Do you think that company's going to come back? Maybe not, because maybe they get used to running operations at another place. And that could be the same with the factory. They say, you know what, we're going to close our factory in USA. We're going to go to Canada. We're going to go to Mexico. We're going to go to another place. And this is where you really hurt you're standing when you piss off people and people just close their business and they start building other partnerships and you realize, wow, I don't have to worry about a volatile U.S. system. Because it is true, even if a blue wave comes in midterms and maybe in the general and the presidential, you never know, right? If some crazy, Trump version 2.0, be it Vance or whoever, gains popularity, because there's certainly a segment of the population in the USA that falls for that stuff. If you're a trading partner at the USA, just like, I just don't want to play that game again. And so I want you guys to see the overall implications of this stuff. It's frustrating for me because I get it more than you know. I really do. I write about this stuff in my book. There's definitely a segment of the population, 30%, 20%, who knows what that exact number is, that just thinks building walls and being isolated is the way to go forward. But in today's world, you are a total loser if you're on your own, and you look around at other countries who are forming closer partnerships. That's the way forward. I mean, it's just a different world. You can't roll the clock back 100 years and expect to be successful. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you all in the next video.